On this episode, I'm going to be showing you how to fix these holes on this hollow core door, so stay tuned. Welcome to Fix This House. If you're new to the channel, please consider pressing the subscribe and notification bell so you can always be in tune on DIYs, how-to videos, and product reviews that I do within this channel. You can tell that there are two damages on this hollow core door. One area is on a flat surface and the other area is on a profiled area where it's a lot more difficult to repair because it's on this part of the door where it's on the design. This is going to be a lot harder to fix, so we're going to go and tackle up the easiest part first, which is the flat surface. But if you look closely on this door, it is not a flat surface design. There's a lot of different designs going on. There's a horizontal profile here, there's a vertical, and there's this wood grain texture that's going on right here. So this repair might not be suitable for everybody, but I'm just trying to show you the concept on how to fix a hollow core door. If you do have a flat area, like what I'm going to show you later on, I do have a door that's a flat surface. If you have something like this, you have two choices. You'll either have to sand the whole thing and make it flush and make it nice and flat, or you just have to deal with having the repair, and that's how far you'll go. But if it was my case, I would just buy another one. Hollow core doors aren't that expensive, but I just want to do this to show you that there is a way to fix these holes. This door was actually customized by the past owner. That's why I ended up taking it off and replacing it, because if you look at the right side, it's a lot shorter than the other. They actually cut this door to make it fit through that door, to that cutout that they're trying to fit into, and they put nails on every single foot right there. It's just an ugly door. Might as well use it as a mock-up for you to show you friends how to fix it. That being said, enough chit chat. Let's go to fixing this flat surface first. You want to clean up and take out all this debris. Take your utility knife and just clean around it. For a flat door like this, it's very easy. It looks like it's made out of particles, and you can even see that there's like cardboard in there. So it's like we got this area clear. You want to see if there's any interferences, and I'll show you why I'm doing this, checking out for interference later on. So you're probably going to assume already that I'm going to be using spray foam to fill this gap inside already. I don't want to do that. A lot of people do that already, but in my way, I want to be able to make this nice and solid in there before I actually put something inside this hollow void. The reason for that is I don't want this to be, you know, punched later on or touched, and it's gonna pretty much, spray foam is very squishy material, and if you put it in there and if it does get punched, or especially, there's a reason why this area probably got damaged, is because it's getting a lot of hits, a lot of pushes and a lot of knocks or whatever, and it gets a lot of action. So you want to try to make that as solid as possible. With just spray foam itself, it's still going to be squishy in there no matter how much compound or hardening compounds that you put on top of this layer. Eventually, over time, it will start to crumble and crack, and you don't want that. You want to build a solid foundation. I'm going to be using some shims. Use it as a good foundation on the back. Take a few shims. I'm going to be taking about, I don't know, 2 pieces. 2, 3 might work, maybe a little bit more, but we're going to start putting a little bit of more backing in there so that we can have a nice solid surface. Here I'm going to leave about 1 inch on each side, and that's where we're going to do our cutout. Take your other shim and kind of do the same thing. And again, you can use multiple shims. In this case, I might be using another shim to do this. I'm probably going to go and add another piece to this so that I can fully go all the way by covering the area without leaving any voids. I'm going to be using a 2x4 just for a good surface. And to cut this, you can either use a hacksaw, or you can just use your utility knife and score over this. You just score it a little bit and you can just snap it off like that. Same thing with the rest of them. Score it off 1 or 2 times. Okay, so let's go and use these 4 pieces and let's get right to it. Now that you got your shims cut, it's time to test fit it. It looks like 3 pieces might do the trick here. When you're putting your drywall screw through this, you don't want to put it exactly on the middle, because if you do put it right on the middle like this, and you try putting it on there, it's gonna stop right there, and you won't be able to get that thing on unless you fan it out like that and move it around. It's a little difficult. What I like to do is I like to put about 1 inch to where the edge is gonna sit. Again, this is just an example. You can put it right through just like that, easier to handle. We're gonna put drywall screws on every one of these spots right here. Now it's very easy. You can use a screwdriver or you can use your hand like what I did. These are very thin. It can go through so easily without even using a screwdriver. All right, so now you have 3 pieces with drywall screws on them. Now the purpose of the drywall screws is pretty much just adds a support so you can hold on to it, maneuver it like this, like that. You want to work on this 1 piece at a time. You don't want to work 3 at the same time. Let's start with 1 piece first. So the adhesive that I like to use is this 2P10. It's the thick version. There's a thin, medium, and thick. I like to use this thicker one because it makes a lot more mass when you put it over. And it does come with an activator where you can spray the activator and this will automatically bond to it in a second. Like literally 1 second, it's glued. On one side, make it nice and thick. Same thing on top or here. And then just slide it right between there. Just like that. Okay. Now what you can do, you even actually can go in there and kind of push it. So while you're doing this, you want to go and pull on. You don't want to pull too hard because this drywall screw will come off. You pull a little bit and push a little bit onto the door itself. Just like that. And while we're doing, and you can even stick your finger on that, on this little void right here. If this cardboard wasn't in the way, this would have been a lot easier to do, but you can use that to hold or even hold on to this while it's drying. Okay, so give it a few seconds for this to dry. While we're waiting for this to dry, you can just leave that screw there. I just want to probably take this off. This will probably get in the way. So let's go take this little cardboard piece out of there. I'm gonna place this first. You don't want to glue this right away. So let's just say that you put this middle piece in there, you set it in there. It's a little harder now to make this go fit, the third piece to go in there. So what you want to do is you want to plan ahead of time, put the third piece in. Put the third piece in and then put this one out. This is going to be a little loose. I would get a piece of tape to hold this in place. Do the same thing for the second piece. Load this up with some glue. Make it nice and thick. This 2P10 does come with an activator. This will make this process a lot faster. Now you can use this as an option as well. And it does come with this straw right here, which is perfect because we can go onto that crevice and spray it to make this activate a little bit faster if you don't want, if you don't end up want to wait. It should activate right away. See that? Already it's activated. So we'll leave that there. This is nice and evened out now on this edge. Now what you can do now is take out this last piece. Be very, very careful because if that thing falls through there, it's going to be a lot harder. Then you will have to take this off and it's going to be a lot harder to get that piece in. Be moving this up. Put some glue here. Then I'm going to shift this down so I can get some glue on this area. Take my activator, spray the top part, spray the bottom, line it up with my third piece, like so. Push against right this. Rather than just having spray foam all on the back, you have a nice solid backing on your hollow core door. Now once this is nice and dried up, just take your hand and unscrew it, or just take your screwdriver. These are pretty easy to take out. This one's a little bit harder to take out, so I'm gonna go and take those off like so. There you go. Now you have a nice solid backing in there. You can't just take spray foam and spray foam this without doing the shim method. It's totally up to you, but in my opinion, again, it's just my opinion, it's a lot softer and it's a lot squishier if you just do it just the spray foam, because once you start filling that in with the I'm already going to tell you I'm going to be using Bondo. If you just filled with Bondo and spray foam, I don't know the chemical reaction that might happen between Bondo and this great stuff. Over time it might shrink, and if you push against it, it will probably be squishy. Since this is just spray foam, if you put enough pressure on this, it will be, you know, there's a tendency that it might crack, especially this area where it's going to get a lot of pressure. When you're opening a door, you're going to push onto this area. It's going to get, you know, squished over time, and even if you put Bondo there, it's going to crack no matter what. So I'm going to try and be safe and put this nice solid backing on there. You can tell that, yeah, this nice and solid after gluing it. And I'm going to make it extra secure by drilling a hole through here and spraying it again with spray foam, so that this has actual more backing to push this out of there. So we're gonna drill a hole through here and spray some spray foam at the back. So I'm gonna be using this 5/32 drill bit to go drill right in the middle. Now I'm gonna drill another area so that we can have so we don't have air pockets right there, because once you start drilling on one area, if that's the only hole that you have, I do have another damaged hole here, so I shouldn't be drilling a second hole. But if that was your only hole, you don't want to create an air pocket, and you want to have something to escape, some extra air to escape out of there. Pretty much ran out of this one. I'm going to be using this one instead. It's another same thing, same product, but this one's reused for windows and doors. It doesn't matter, it's still expandable. I'm going to shake this up real well. Smart dispenser right here. Again, when you push on the trigger, it opens and closes. See that? So it keeps it nice and sealed up, so that after you use it, you can still reuse it. Now, this stuff gets really messy, so I like to use gloves, because once you get this on stuff, it's really hard to come off. So just screw it in. Before you do this, you want to try to spray some here, just so you know that there's stuff coming out of here. Okay, let's fill it in. You see that? It's already filling in there. Again, this is just backing. This is just so that we can have a foam to push this out for more stability on the back. I would inject it for about a few seconds. I wouldn't go too crazy, because you already have enough backing there. You can see that it's starting to come out there. That should be fine. Okay, we'll let that settle for a little bit. While we're doing that, we're gonna go and tackle this area right here. For this area, it looks like we can try to save this portion right here, because this is pretty much just pushed in. Maybe we can use some of this area or these pieces that got pushed in and pull it out. You can use a pry bar, you know, just to push that out a little bit, like so. Maybe we can try, oh, well, that came out. Obviously we can't reuse that anymore. This piece, maybe, carefully put a screw in through here. So hold on to that piece that you want to save. Put a drywall screw to it. And again, you don't want to go too far in, because if you go too far in, this screw is gonna go straight right through the other side. You just want enough of this screw to push out of there. See if we can shove something in there to make this work. Maybe we can go on an angle, and that might work. We'll still have a little bit of area right there. Spray it back there. slide this in. Pull back and pull forward. Take our drill. I would put hole right there, and what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna put another hole back here as well. Okay, so that I can spray both of those areas with spray foam. Okay, looks like we got enough. You see that it's coming out of that hole. That's when you know you have a good, and you can see that there's a little bit of them coming at it from there. So we're gonna inject this area too. Oh, see that? It's coming out of there. So we're good. We're actually gonna inject some more. That's fine. If it starts coming off of here, it's okay. I'm gonna build that out later on anyways. Maybe we can fill this area too. Just a little bit and shave that off. Not too much. We don't wanna go too overboard with this. I don't wanna plaster this whole thing with spray foam. I'm gonna leave this screw in, but I'm gonna take this one out because this one's already done. There we go. That one's done. This one I'm gonna leave till all the spray foam is completely dried and hardened. I'm gonna leave this out for a few hours, friends, and then we'll come back at it. So it says on the instruction that it'll be tack free in 15 minutes. So tack free means that you can touch it without having it stick onto your glove just like that, but it takes 8 hours for this to feel fully cure and harden. So we're gonna leave this overnight and we'll go back right to it. Okay, let's go let it harden for a little bit. Been past 8 hours and you can see that this has finally cured. This foam we can cut out, this screw we can take out, and you can see this is nice and solid. I'm pushing right on this thing, banging on it. If this was just foam, if you just put foam, it'll be squishy like this. That's how it's gonna be. And you're gonna put Bondo on top of that, it's gonna harden. The only thing the Bondo is gonna cling onto are these edges. I don't suggest it. If you want a nice solid foundation, I would advise you do this method. It's actually a lot easier if we take this and lay it flat because we're gonna apply some Bondo on this. I'm gonna take out the screw. We don't need this anymore. Trim this area right here. You trim just below the profile. So the compound that I'll be using is this all-purpose putty. This is by Bondo. This is awesome because this is pretty much, you can use this to repair metals, wood, drywall, concrete, and masonry surfaces. And it's paintable right when you're done. And this actually dries up in 15 minutes right after you apply. And it's actually a two-part. That means that for every part of this, you will mix a hardener and you mix it. I'm gonna be using the spreader. Again, all this stuff, I'll leave it on the description down below. I'm gonna be using gloves and I'm gonna be using a respirator as well because VOCs, they're bad for you. I'm gonna be working in my garage. I don't wanna breathe this stuff. So just to be safe, wear a respirator. So with this stuff, you just, open it up and it does come with cream hardener. So the instruction says you're gonna make a 3 diameter circle about 1/2 inch thick and you're gonna apply a 3-inch bead of cream hardener and we're gonna mix it. I'm gonna take my 10-in-1 tool, open this up. This is a small area for my spreader. I'm only gonna use the small spreader for here, this size, which should be efficient. I'm gonna use this cardboard to mix everything up. Take the hardener and I'm gonna apply. So we're gonna mix it up. I'm gonna take that area right there and just fill in the gaps. So when I'm applying this, I'm not pushing really hard because I want to build up around here. So let me actually grab some extra around this area so I can put it on top just like so. I'm going to use my 10-in-1 to fill this because it looks like it's a little bit more precise if I use it. Just finessing this. It's all about just going with the contour of it. Again, you have 15 minutes of working time on this. As it gets harder a little bit, you can kind of mold it like clay. I'm going to be using my 120 grit or 80 grit sandpaper, whichever one you want to use, and a sanding block. for this area, and we're just gonna make it flush. So looking through here, this one looks really good. We're gonna focus on the harder part. This is where our finesse comes in. We're gonna start shaping this area. Make sure you feel with your hands the edges. If you feel a bump or whatnot, in this case, this is nice and smooth. It's a good transition. This is ready for paint. This area, the flat areas are always the easiest parts to do because yeah, they're just flat. You know, you just run your sandpaper and you should be good on that. The hardest part are these profiles. I did my best to match the profile right here. See where it leads up to there. It lines up pretty well even through here. There's a 45 that's going right here, like this side splits. So I tried matching that up as best as I could. The part that's very, very difficult, and again, if you fix it like this, it's, you know, for me, this is good. It's okay. There's this little details on this profile that has these indentations, these dimples all the way across here, and it just kind of just flattens out here, even through here. You know, there's some areas that are just so hard to do. It is doable. It would take a little more time to do doing the detail. But if you're just trying to fix the door, just move, get on with it. Then you're fine with this. Do the best that you can. You can't make it 100% unless you really take your time at it. In this case, I'm not going to do that. I'm just showing you the concept of how you can do this structurally sound without having to later on break. And you can tell that this is nice and sturdy, and then this is just solid. I mean, you can knock on this like that and no way it's gonna squish down. It's nice and smooth here. We did the best we can over in this profile, nice and leveled. If you look right here, we made it conform with this leading line here, leading line down here. Nice and flush. Looks a lot better than before. This was the easiest part, so solid. Let's go hit it up with paint. You can pick any paint you want. Obviously you want to hit it up with primer first and then hit it up with your top coat. Ooh, I like how it just disappears like that. So here's what it looks like on this top view right here. I don't know about you, but it doesn't look that bad. I mean, we actually made the profile here look good. The only issue that I have here is, look at this, the profile goes and just kind of disappears right there. That's totally up to you of how you want to finish those details. This is a little harder part. You can take your time. I'm not going to do that on this video. I'm just showing you the concept, but overall here, I didn't paint the whole door. I'm just painting the whole area just for you. This area here, this is just one coat. After the second coat, you can barely tell where that damage is by looking at it. And this paint is just the first layer, and you can see that it is gone. Yeah, so if you do it right, that's what it's supposed to look like on the flat surface. On this one, your artistic side will need to be put to use because there's a lot of profile. I mean, right here, I think I over sanded on that area. And then right here, I forgot to sand a little bit. But that's all come to, going back at it, trying to fix up, do the tiny detail work. But from afar right here, I mean, it doesn't look that bad. You can kind of see there's still that 45 mark right there, as you can see on the other side. If you look right here, it kind of blended really well. If you use that paintbrush and you use the bristles and go in this direction, it will conform with this. You see where pretty much where that paint ends with the old, see how the paintbrush marks. Same thing with the vertical. If you have something like that, brush vertically and you will match this profile right here. Like this looks like brush marks anyways. And for this one, it has that wood It has that wood grain texture on there, but it doesn't look so bad. I mean, there's a flat area right there, but overall it did match pretty well. Overall, for what it is, I think that was a pretty good fix, especially on this harder area right there with the profile. I don't see much people doing videos on how to fix the harder part like that, mostly on the flat areas, the easy parts. So we had to tackle the hard part. So yeah. Once again, friends, I would like to know what your thought of this is. If you found this video helpful, if you found some good tips on this, let me know in the comment section down below. What would you have done differently? What products you would have used? And would you try this method? I want to know in the comment section below. And if you found this video big help, please hit that big thumbs up, press the subscribe notification bell, because I have more DIYs and how-to fixes that I need to show you, friends. So thank you so much. You have a good weekend. I'll see you next time. Have a good one.